All right. So very good morning, everyone. Hope all of you are doing good. So a quick confirmation. Can all of you see my screen and hear my voice clearly? Can you quickly confirm that by using the chat option and the live chat option in YouTube? Can you quickly confirm? Can all of you see my screen and hear my voice clearly? Is everything clear? Okay, just a moment. You can use the chat option and interact with me. Okay, thank you, Satish Shetty. All right, just a moment. Okay, from Discord also, can you guys quickly confirm? Can all of you see my screen and hear my voice clearly in Discord? All right, so let's get into the subject. So once again, thank you so much and welcome back to the session of live analysis of Nifty and Bank Nifty using Bookmaps tool powered by TrueData. A quick disclaimer, any decision that you take in trading or investment are subject to market risk. So please take thorough decisions before taking any decisions. Please to go through the thorough research and then take the effective decisions, because every single decisions are subject to market risk. So let's quickly get into the chart and see what is happening. So we go by different procedures. So by the end of today's session, I have planned to discuss about the new tools and new indicators offered by Bookmap as well. But in the first step, we go by a process. So those who are already attending may have may be aware of that particular process. So basically it's a framework that we follow, which is nothing but TLE. All right, so basically identifying the trend, identifying the locations where we can get into the trade, where the locations which offers us the less risk and bigger rewards, and then comes the entry and exit situations. For that we will be utilizing the Bookmap chart by using a different indicators and by using the different tools that is being offered by Bookmap. All right, so first step is to identify the trend. So in simple words, it means that at the present moment, in terms of the price, okay, in terms of the price, where the price is primarily heading. So if it is making higher highs and higher lows, then it is a uptrend. Then we try to align with this particular trend, either by the pullback entry. When price approaches to last supports, we'll try to enter at the pullbacks, or we try to enter at the breakouts when we have a confirmation of uptrend. And similarly, if market is moving in the downward direction by making lower lows and lower highs, then we will try to anticipate, or then we will try to involve in the market to short the market when there is a pullback, or when there is a break of the swings in the lower side. This is one of the way we anticipate the downtrend and also participate in it. And then comes the third type of market, which is kind of a choppy sideways market. All right, so if the market behavior is sideways, then we will try to deploy a strategy where we can buy the low. When price approaches to the lower range, then we will try to buy it, and we will try to short the market when the market approaches to the higher level, based on the confirmations that I will be discussing in the later section. All right, so if this is very clear to you, then comes the second step. Once the trend is identified, which trend the presently market is moving, so once that is identified, then comes the second step is to identify the desirable locations. In simple words, the nearby support and resistances, since we are dealing with an intraday trade, so obviously it makes sense for us to look for a short time frame support and resistances. So in this case I am using a 30-minute chart. So immediately previous day high, previous day low. For example, this is where we have a previous day high, and this is where we have a previous day low, and the first 1 hour high and low, so which we call it as a IB high and IB low, or the nearby critical support and resistances. For example, for today's market, okay, let me just a moment. So these are the key levels that we can monitor for today's market. All right. So I'll come to the part. So in terms of the trend, okay, so in terms of the overall trend, we can clearly see that the market is making lower lows, lower highs. So continuously it is making a lower lows and lower highs. But on a broader picture, you can clearly see that on a broader note, market is presently trending in the upward direction from this particular level. All right. With that confirmation, we can clearly see that the present down movement, whatever we are seeing, is basically a counter move or correction move for the healthy uptrend. All right. That means there is still a potential up move possibility. All right. And as we can see at the present moment, the overall market has moved in a decent manner in the downward direction on a correction move. And in that case, today we are seeing a reversal sign, kind of a reversal sign. How I am saying that, basically, as you can see, there was a gap over here. All right. That gap was filled in the morning session, and immediately the sellers who entered to or who tried to push the market in the downward direction miserably failed in the initial hours of the market. Basically, the first 30 minutes and 1 hour is going to be very critical for intraday trades. In that sense, there was a clear rejection from the bottom end. So from this particular gap has clearly filled from the higher level, and market is trying to move in the upward direction. With that sense, it make all sense for us to look for a long trades either at the pullback of last previous day low or the break of IB high. So this will be the IB high roughly. Okay, so after 10:15 we'll get the confirmation, but assume that this is the IB high. Break of this particular level can also be the entry point for us to get into the long trade. All right. So if this is clear to you, then let's move on to the next script that we have, which is Bank Nifty. All right, BNF wise. So as I have marked over here that the price was trending in the bracket. Okay, so bracket in the sense the sideways market till this point. All right, and how beautifully it has acted. You can clearly see that market was in a range, and after that it has broken out the range at this particular stage, and there was an immediate momentum, and then again it is pulled back into the last the last resistance. In this case it is becoming a polarity support over here. Okay, so again market is trying to push in the upward direction. So similar case here also, that the market is in the uptrend clearly, and it all makes sense for us to look for long trade opportunity even in the Bank Nifty. Okay, sorry. And let's mark out the levels. So basically the last previous day low is here, previous day high is here, and possibly, let me zoom out a bit, just a moment. Yeah, so the good part of Bank Nifty is it is presently trading at kind of all-time high, and we can clearly see the potential over here in terms of the overall potential. Okay, comparing to Nifty and Bank Nifty, Bank Nifty seems to be little aggressive in terms of the long trade. So basically the break of this particular level, this high around 44,000, can bring good momentum in the upward direction, the possibility. Okay, so don't worry about it. This confirmation we are going to get it from the Bookmap chart. So basically this is the context. Okay, so in terms of the trend, presently both Nifty and Bank Nifty are trending in the upward direction, and hence we are looking for a long trades. And second, we also identified the immediate locations where we can look for the price action and then take the effective decisions. Okay, and then comes the entry and exit. So this is where things gets a little interesting with the Bookmap chart. Here is where I'm going to utilize the Bookmap chart, where we will see the order flow information, and then try to anticipate, try to participate in the existing trend. So let me open it. For those who don't know about the basic part of Bookmap, so basically, just a moment, I'm disabling everything, and just quick note for you. So this is basically the BBO indicator. Whatever you are seeing right now, it is not a price indicator. It is called as a BBO indicator. What I mean to say is basically the best bid and best offer. Okay. So at the present moment, if you look at depth of any particular instrument, there will be a best bid and best offer. So that will be historically recorded over here. The advantage of this particular line or this particular indicator is that it gives the structure. As you can see, market is presently moving in some structure. Okay, so we know what is the price structure, and in that we will get the micro picture over here by looking into the candlestick. For example, let's say if I enable the candlestick charts over here, so as you can see, this is 5-minute candlestick chart. Okay, let me add a 15-minute candlestick chart. We can clearly see at the present moment, if you just look at the candlestick, okay, we will be able to look at the open, close, high and low. But if you look at the internal structure of it in terms of the BBO indicator, it will help us to identify the structure within the candle that is been forming. All right, so you don't necessarily have to wait for the candle to complete to take a decisions. Even in advance only you can take the decisions, because you know the internal structure of the candlestick charts. So once this is clear to you, then we have several other indicators. So let me disable the candlestick charts, and I will enable the absorption indicator. Okay, I have explained about this particular indicator in many webinars. This is one of the powerful indicator offered by the Bookmap. But just give me a moment. I think I forgot to explain this. Okay, if I enable the volume dots, okay, so it will show us the buying and selling volumes. So what I mean to say, for example, let's say each bubble is nothing but an indication of an executed orders, point 1, and point 2, if it is green, that means the software is smartly bifurcating the market buy orders, market sell orders, executed orders. Okay, so which tells basically the aggressive buy orders over here. So you can see market buy orders here and market sell orders here. If it is indicating in a red, the moment you look into the chart, you will get two important information. First thing is that where the maximum number of activities are happening. Okay, so if you just look into this, okay, so you can clearly see here also we are seeing a green bubble, and here also we are seeing a green bubble, but you will notice that this particular bubble is bigger than this relatively. So that relative comparison you can make out by using this particular tool that will help us to identify where the maximum number of transactions are taking place and what is the behavior of those transactions in terms of the whether it is a market buy or market sell. And third important thing, where the maximum number of transactions have taken place. So if you just look at the aggressive base, you can clearly notice that this is where we are seeing maximum. Okay, so this particular level is where we have. So this is the bubble which is bigger comparing to all other bubbles that we are seeing at the present moment. So definitely someone aggressively entered the market in the buy side from this particular level. Okay, so at any given point of time, for him to be profitable side, okay, so this is a critical point. For him to be in a profitable side, he should defend the price when price approaches to this particular level and again try to move the upward direction. So basically this particular information also we can utilize for identifying support and resistance in terms of the volume side. But again, we don't use that particular information in this way, but this is one of the way. Okay, so just give me a moment. So I'm just going to explain the absorption today, and after that I'm going to introduce you to the other indicators as well. Okay, so the first useful indicator that is there in the system. Okay, so if you go to the configure add-ons, there is something called as price levels. So this is one of the useful tools for those who, because see, for our particular process, basically the first step is to identify the trend and second step is to identify the location. So if you want to identify the definitive location, okay, without error, then price level can be one of the powerful indicator. So how we can utilize this? So let me tell you. If you go to the bookmap chart, bookmap.truedata.in, for pro version, you will get all these particular add-ons. Okay, so cumulative delta, this I have explained in the last session. Point control, I will explain to you today, and VWAP correlation tracker. absorption indicator. Right now we are seeing a price level indicator. So basically, in simple sense, what it does is that, let me enable the price level. Okay, so immediately the three level, okay, so higher price level for present range, okay, for particular present range, just a moment. Yeah, so for present day, okay, for present day, what is the 100% highest level, what is the high, okay, and what is the mid range, what is the mid price of today's entire market? As you can see that the present high is somewhere around here 16,620, and similarly low is 16,460 from the morning. Okay, from this particular level the low is not changed. That means there is an uptrend and price is presently trending in the upward direction. So with this we can immediately notice where the maximum traded or the highest price level of today's market, and similarly lowest price. So I usually don't look into the middle price, because that's basically the 50% of the entire range. Okay, and then we have scheduled resets. So this is one of the useful tool for those who use the shorter time period of time. So for example, let's say scheduled reset, if there are two ways where we can schedule. So if you don't schedule it, it will consider the day range, the entire day range. If not, you can also change this at every single time. Okay, so for example, for morning 9:30 you want the reset to happen. If you give the apply, so this will be resetted every on 9:30 a.m. every single day based on the time frame, or based on the presently it is at set at 5:30. So basically it's Asia Kolkata time frame. So if you are in outside, so you can change this accordingly. And there is one more way of doing it every, okay, so for every minute or for every hour, for every particular set of period of a time also, you can reset the high and low levels. Let me show that to you. So if I make it as 15 minute, so for every 15 minute this high and low will be identified. So this is one of the wonderful feature for identifying where the maximum range is taking place. For example, the first 15 minute, okay, the sellers were strong, sellers seems to be strong, but after that there was a shift in the trend. How we can say that? The low remain constant. Until unless the low remains constant, there is a uptrend possibility. Okay, so this is also one of the way, but roughly I don't use this particular per specific time frame. You can also do this for 30 minutes or 1 hour. You can change this accordingly, but if you just disable the scheduled reset, so it will be identified for the day. Until unless, okay, for particular, for today's market, assume that the high is changing but the low is being constant. That means what? The market is trending in the upward direction. As you can see, it is breaking the high, and we can get into the last high, and by keeping the stop loss at the low. This is one of the useful tool for you to identify the price levels automatically. And there is one more way of doing it. Okay, so let me show you that as well. So for example, let's say we are monitoring this particular level around 43,980. Okay, for, sorry, it's BNF. Let's see the Nifty. Okay, IB high is somewhere around 18,060. Okay, 18,650. So how can we mark that particular price level, specific price level? If you go to the add-on and price level, you can custom the price. Okay, so for example, assume I want 16,000. Just a moment. 16,000. Sorry guys, really sorry, just a moment. 18,615. Okay, 18,615. You can add the custom level, and you can enable and disable that particular level. Just a moment. Okay, I think this seems to be, Just a moment. Okay, so I think that's not presently working out. So let me check that. Okay, so basically price levels is where we can monitor the present day high and low, and also you can add the custom levels. Okay, just a moment. Okay, let me check this out and get back to you. So basically at the present moment, we can use this particular indicator to identify the high and low, and we can also add the custom level, but I will get back to you on it. So once I got the confirmation from the Bookmap team. All right. So this is one of the indicator that we can use to identify the price levels on a precise note. And just give me a moment. There is one more indicator, which is basically the instrument copy. Okay, so how we can use this particular tool is that if you subscribe to the same instrument, okay, so for example, let's say TrueData and Nifty, if I want separate chart to monitor the different time frame, so if I subscribe this, I will not be able to do it. So instead, how we can do this is that if you go to the add-ons and go to the instrument copy, okay, if you just click the create button over there, the same copy of this particular instrument will be created separately. You can see Nifty NSE copy, so that you can anyway unsubscribe and again create it multiple times. Okay, so this will help you to monitor the price in a different price levels. For example, in this case, you want to monitor the different tools of the same indicator. Instead of absorption indicator, you want footprint separately. So that will be identified over here. So you can monitor the footprints in separate chart. You can monitor the absorption indicators in the separate chart. So it's nothing but the tool that will help us to monitor the same instrument in a different charts. Okay. So if this is clear to you, then let's get into the subject where how we can get into and get out of the trade. So again, I want to recall. So basically we follow the process. We identified the trend, we identified the locations, then comes the entry and exit. When it comes to the entry and exit, there are several methods. You can utilize the cumulative volume delta or absorptions information, or also you can get the confirmation from the footprint charts. All right, the footprint charts. So how we can do that? For example, the ideal setup for getting to the trade is that when price is trading in the higher highs and higher lows, we can simply get into the trade. The beautiful part of absorption indicator is that it will help us to identify the potential immediate reversals or immediate swings in the market on a precise note. So basically you can clearly see that whenever there are absorptions, for example, in this case, there was an absorption and immediately there was a swing formation at this point. And similarly, there was an absorption over here, and after that there is a formation of the swing. So ideally, the absorption point will help us to identify. So if you just look at the structure, there are random structures, but followed by the absorption, it will help us to identify the possible precise swings. So that will help us to identify the microstructure of the price. Once that is clear to you, now you know that you want to get into the trade. How we can do that? Simple. Either break of last swings, okay, break of this swing where we can keep our stop loss, last swing low where we see the absorptions. All right, and similarly, whenever this particular price pattern is continuing in our direction, we can simply trial our stop loss. Assume after 15 minutes, you know that there was a strong reversal. Okay, assume that after 9:45, after 30 minutes, you know, in terms of the gap filling, there was an immediate reversal from the bottom end, and you know that you want to get into the uptrend. In that, assume that you are getting into the break of last swing high, and even though initial stop loss got triggered here, and after that we got another entry, and we can simply keep our stop loss as and when. Okay, so this is an important point. Let me explain you. Okay, assume that you entered over here, and again market is reversing by the absorption over here. All right, and once market breaks this particular level again, then that's the trigger condition for us to move our stop loss. Assume this was your entry and this is where you kept your stop loss, initial stop loss, And once the market breaks this followed by the absorption, then that's the trigger for us to move our stop loss and trial our stop loss to that level by reducing the risk or safeguarding the profits. All right. So assume that you have taken an entry over here until unless the market breaks out here. If your stop loss is over here, okay, until unless market breaks this level, you don't do anything. So you simply keep your stop loss over there. Once this particular levels gets breaks, so then you will move your stop loss to the last swing low. I hope this is clear. All right. Just a moment. All right. So basically the same price action patterns we can utilize, but in the microstructure of this particular BBO indicator. And also we can utilize the absorption indicator to identify the possible potential swings. Okay, potential swings, and then we can simply anticipate the existing trend, our main trend identification that we have identified in the first step, and the decision that we take here has to be the same. So we don't look for shorting opportunities. Even though this particular structure is making lower lows or lower highs, we don't look for a shorting opportunities because our initial step is suggesting us to go for long trades. All right. So I hope this is clear. All right. And if you are monitoring the price, for example, let's say if you are monitoring the action in the 15-minute chart, okay, if you just look at the candle, you will only get the information of open, high, low, close. All right. But the footprint information will help us to identify the volume behavior within the entire 15-minute candlestick chart. How we can do that? Okay, so just a moment. Let me disable the volume dots. And here is where we can identify it. This is the footprint information. So let me see whether it is set for 15 minutes. If you just go to the 15-minute, yeah, it's a 15-minute footprint chart that we are presently monitoring. As we can see, this is where the data started. And after that, the first 15-minute candle. Okay, so refer to this. This was the first 15-minute candle of first 30-minute candle of today. Okay, let me make it as 15-minute. Yeah. So this is the first 15-minute candle. All right. And how beautifully this has identified. If you just look at the, just a moment. Yeah. So the entire candle is suggesting the red. Okay. So basically there is a selling activity which is happening in the first 15 minutes. But if you just look at the footprint chart, okay, so observe carefully. This is where we are seeing a maximum number of transactions. I think let me zoom in a bit and show you, so that will be helpful to you. Yeah, I hope it's visible, and let me open it a bit. So the first 15-minute candle, just a moment. Yeah. So 15-minute candle looks like this, but if you look at the order flow information in the footprint charts, the first information that we get over here is that this is where the maximum number of transactions are taking place. And the beautiful part of it is that it is also bifurcating the overall volumes that we are seeing here. The entire profile, this is where we are seeing the maximum number of transactions, and most importantly, those transactions were market buy orders. So this leaves us critical information that we are now seeing where the maximum number of orders are getting placed in the entire 15-minute. And then we also seeing whether it was a market buy and market sell. The next important question for us is that what will be the follow-up of the price? Assume that this was a downtrend, entire first 15-minute was moving in the downward direction, and this is where we saw the immediate market buy orders. If they are if they are a trapped buy orders, for example, in this case someone is placing a limit sell orders, we can clearly see that. In that sense, if the limits were strong, if the opposite party were strong, the price would have traded in the downward direction as a follow through. But in this case, it is exactly happening in the opposite direction. That means those who entered aggressively at the lower level were smart players. All right. I want to repeat it. First 15-minute chart, only we are seeing the high and low in the overall 15-minute candle, open, high, low, close. But if you look at the volume information by using the footprint charts, we will be able to see where the maximum number of orders that are getting placed and what kind of orders they are. Once this is clear, we just have to see the follow through it. So after this, if the internal structure, the BBO indicator is showing a higher high, higher low formation, that clearly shows us the one who entered at the lower level as a aggressive buy order were a smart orders. That's the reason why we are seeing the up move in the upward direction. And how smartly, okay, so I also want you to monitor this. Okay, so this is where we have seen further response from those same buyers over here. The next 15-minute candle is where it was so much of strong buying activity that happened from the same exact cumulative level. So this is one of the critical information we will get from the footprint charts as well. So we can clearly monitor where the maximum number of orders are getting placed in the time structure, and after that where how the overall volume is getting behaved. So let me disable the candlestick chart. All right. So this is how we can utilize the order flow information. Now also, okay, so at the present situation, if you just want to utilize this order information, so we are presently trading at the day highs. Okay, so at the market present movement, so last 15 minutes, this is where we saw the maximum number of orders getting placed, and we know that this was a market buy orders. So in this case, the price has to sustain above this price in order to prove that the aggressive buys who entered in this particular price level is much more convinced. So if the price is instead moving upward direction, it is making, or if it is sustaining below this particular level, then the one who entered over here as an aggressive buy may get into the trap. Okay, so this is a critical information. We don't just rely on the information of order flow. We also look into the price information and price follow up in order to define whether the one who entered in the market, whether it is aggressive buy or aggressive sell, whether they are convinced or whether they are defending their positions or not. This is so important. All right, so this is clear to you. All right, so just a moment. Just give me a moment. Yeah. Mits R is asking, does the same logic for 5-minute charts too? Yeah, the same logic applies to 5-minute as well. So if you just check this out, so footprint charts, 5-minute charts, so you'll be able to see the 5-minute order flow information. All right, so just a moment. There is one more tool that I want to introduce to you, so just a moment. Yeah, if you go to the session wise profile, okay, so just right click on it and configure column, and there is an option called show point of control on chart. Okay, so if you enable this is going to help us. Okay, so this is one of the wonderful tool to identify the immediate trend in the market. So basically, what is point of control? Point of control is the price level where maximum number of transactions happened or the order got placed. And if it is changing, okay, if it is changing in the upward direction, that means price is consistently accepting in the upward direction. Price is consistently making the progress in the upward momentum. So it's basically indicates the immediate trend in the market. As you can see at this stage, okay, so at this stage the point of control shifted from 18,460 level to this level because the price is presently trying to accept at the higher levels. Price, that means the transactions are taking at the higher levels. people are ready to pay more for the market. So that means there is a demand in the market. So point of control also we can utilize to identify the immediate trend in the market. So yeah. So break off further, this break off high, we can simply trail our stop loss to the lower level. So this pattern we can continue to hold our trade until unless this particular pattern exists, the higher highs and higher lows. We can simply trail our stop loss as and when this particular confirmation we get from the chart. And then we have a bank nifty charts over here. Let me also make a copy of it. Yeah. So we have a bank nifty copy to see the footprint chart information. Okay, so just a moment. So this time frame of the footprint, you can change this according to your price, your time frame that you are working with. Some people will work with 5 minutes, some people will work with 15 minutes. So, but 15 minute will give the ideal. Just a moment. Yeah, 15-minute information will give us the ideal information in most of the cases. So unnecessary signals will be removed. Well, I hope that is clear. Okay, so let me recall our information. So far we have discussed about the time frame, the framework, TLE. All right, so where we identify the trend in the first place, and then we identify the desirable locations in the form of support and resistances, previous day high, previous day low. Then we get into the entry and exit part by using the order flow information of the bookmap chart. So basically we are going to use the BBO indicator for identifying the internal structure within the candle, and then we are using an absorption indicator over here to see the potential swings, and then we participate in it just how we participate in the candlestick price action information, higher highs and higher low breakouts. If it is in uptrend, then we simply align this structure with the initial trend, and then we try to look for the break of the swing highs. And similarly, if we are looking for a short opportunities, break of last swing lows can be the entry trigger for us by keeping the stop loss at the last absorption, where we saw the absorption at the swing high, in the last immediate swing high. As and when this particular level breaks out, okay, this pattern continues to go in the in our direction, then we simply keep our trailing stop loss active. As and when there is a absorptions that happens, then the breakout of last swing will simply keep our stop loss. All right, so I hope that is clear. And there is one more indicator, cumulative volume delta. So about this I'll be discussing in a separate session in the next session. All right, so any questions? If you have any particular questions, feel free to ask. Okay, Mitz is asking how to read the order flow information. Okay, so in simple words, so let me change it to 15 minutes. Okay, I want to again show you the morning example itself. See, entire 15-minute was trending in the downward direction, but if you just look at the overall information of the volume, the aggressive buys got into the trade at around 18,468, 470 levels. Okay, so this particular price level is going to play the critical role, and we are going to monitor what will be the follow-up of the price. So ideally, the price should sustain, from this particular level. If the price is sustaining below, that means the one who entered aggressively over here as a market buy orders getting trapped, but instead market is moving in the upward direction. So who has the courage to enter aggressively in the market? Just a moment. So who has the courage to enter aggressively in the buy aggressively when the market is falling? And surprisingly, after that particular consumption, market is moving in the opposite direction of the first 15 minutes. That clearly shows the one who entered at this particular price level is a strong buyer. And when price again approaches to this particular level, chances of So when price again approaches back to this particular level, chances of price again moving in the upward direction is quite high. So we can use this particular information in order to analyze the behavior of the volumes. And second thing, we can also use this particular information to identify the immediate support and resistances for the market to take the reversals. All right. I hope that is clear. Just give me a moment. Any particular questions? Just a moment. Any particular questions with respect to today's discussions? You can feel free to ask in the chat option. All right. So for those who are in Discord, you can use the chat option at the right top corner. And similarly, if you are in a YouTube, you can simply use the live chat option. Okay, Mitz is asking a question: is there a way to identify strong demand, strong supply in Bookmap? At the present moment, the information that we're getting is the level 1 data. So very soon we will be introducing a level 5 data. So basically 5 depth will be included in that. You know, this particular information. Okay, so supply and demand, you can immediately see where the maximum number of orders or the liquidity is there in the market. So that will be introduced very soon. So that level 2 data will be introduced very soon. All right. So always go by the framework. That is very important, because see, when we don't have a plan in a specific manner or in a calculated way, then possibility of us getting into the random trades is quite high. So that's why we follow this particular process. We don't directly jump into this particular chart. We follow this particular process. First thing is to identify the trend in terms of the price, and similarly we identified the locations where we can monitor our price action. And similarly we use the few indicators. I'm not using all the indicators, only few indicators to identify the entry and exits. All right. So following the framework will help us to sort out the trade, and also not to chop out in the choppiness of the market. So basically we filter out the trades using this particular framework. Mitz is asking, can I also access US data? Well, if that is in your package, we can do that. All right. So at the present moment, Bookmap India Pro will come with, you can use it for MCX, National Stock Exchange equity, futures and CDS both. All right. To access the US market data, I think you need to go for a global package. I hope it is clear. So let me show you the setting one. So all these add-ons are not defaultly available. So you need to visit bookmap.com, and in this go to more, knowledge base, and go to the add-ons. On the left side, that whatever you are seeing over here are the different add-ons based on your package. You can download it. As we can see that footprint indicator. Okay, so if you just visit the footprint indicator, about that we'll get the idea like what exactly the overall information that we look into in terms of the footprint. So that setting information and everything will be given over here. And then you can simply go to the download option. I think a footprint indicator is by defaultly available when you download the software, but assume that absorption indicator. Okay. So if you go to the installation, once you go to the absorption indicator and go to the installation, you will get this particular link to download it. So after the download, you need to import it. So if you go to the configure add-ons and click on the add, then whatever the indicator that you have downloaded, you simply have to click on that and you have to import that to this particular add-on list. So that's how you do it. All right. I hope that is clear. Let's see what is happening with the Bank Nifty. Let me show you the setting of this. Okay, so just a moment. Someone is asking. Yeah. So here absorption indicator. Okay, so it basically shows us this is the default setting. I haven't changed anything over here. If within 2.5 seconds 3829 quantities got executed, then the software will identify that particular price level as a absorption. Okay, and there are two modes. First thing is manual mode. Okay, so if I disable the automatic mode, manual mode will be enabled. You can change this particular quantity according to your need. So for the maximum orders quantity that can be placed in one particular order is 5000 for Nifty. Okay, if I do that, it will only, software will only show us when within 2.5 seconds the 5000 quantities got executed at a specific price level, then this particular level will be identified as a absorption. And if it is in a buyer side, then it will identify it as a sell absorption, buy absorption. That means it will be showed in the red color. And similarly, if it is a market sell order, then it will be considered as a buying absorption. Oh, sorry, selling absorption. That means a buyer entry, passive buyer entry. So that's basically the indication here. So by default, I'll keep it as automatic mode. That means it looks into the last look back into last 30-minute data, and it will consider the average volume. Assume the last 30-minute average volume is 5 and SD multiplier is 5. 5 multiplied by 5 is equal to 25. That particular number will be counted over here. So this is a dynamic number. According to the market dynamics, this will be changed. So it is always suggested to keep it in automatic mode. 30-minute, make sure that the 30-minute of the market is completed to do it. If it is not 30-minute, that means let's say our market opening time is 9:15 and you are in 9:30. In that case, you can either do it in 10-minute or 15-minute. So ideally after 30-minute, keep it as 30-minute. That will give us the, most of the cases, ideal absorption indication information. So that's about absorption indicator setting. And if you visit the footprint chart, okay, so I will show you what exactly it is. So basically about this particular configurations and settings I have discussed in the separate session, but just I want to show you the setting, what and all the setting that I have following for plotting this particular footprint. I'm keeping a time interval. That means I'm looking for a specific intervals. 15-minute is the interval that I'm presently looking at. Bar width, nothing but the visual appearance of this particular bars. We can clearly see that market is presently pushing in the upward direction. So just a moment, I want to show you another information. So in this price level, there was much of an aggressive sells. Okay, but price is trending in the upward direction. That means what? That means what? So someone who aggressively sold here is getting into trap now because market is moving in the upward direction. And similarly, market primary direction is the upward direction. Then definitely this particular sign is a good healthy sign for any particular long trade at the present moment. All right. So then we have a histogram delta plus and minus. This is what the type that I'm using into calculation of the footprint charts. And this is nothing but the color appearance. Shade, I'm doing it for changing the differences within this particular profiles. Transparency, you can change this according to your needs. I am going to keep it as 100% transparency. Footprint chart, buy into sell. There are four different types of footprints. So presently I'm using buy into sell. That's why I'm able to see buys and sells of the that particular price level. Okay. So you can also look into the summation of that particular price level information. Yeah. And then we have a horizontal delta. Okay. So it will show us the delta information. So that means, for example, for this particular case, there was 5,800 different difference market sell orders were executed. So overall it was 7,500. In that 7,500, 5,800 is where the difference of aggressive sell orders. So that means aggressive sells were more in this particular price level. So I by default I want to keep it as buy to sell. And then we have a maximum font size. So it's basically the font size that you see over here. Keep it as maximum. I haven't changed anything over here. Most important point is a tick multiplier. So whenever we are subscribing to the new instrument, okay, so it will ask for a tick size. So there are different tick size that you can give. So ideally, if you want to use the footprint chart, keep it as 1. So it's a straightforward way of calculation. And again, if you go to the add-on over here, so I have placed it as 3. That means around, let's say this is a 18k level, okay, 18,000 level. And when market move by another 3 points, okay, that why 3 points, you're giving a tick multiplier as 3. When market reaches to 18,003 or 17,997, so the point difference we come to at 3-point level. So that 3 point, within that 3 points, what and all the information that happened, so that will be calculated and that will be displayed in the footprint charts. So this again changes according to the instrument. Presently for Nifty I'm using 3, and for Bank Nifty double of the Nifty, because it is trading a double number of the Nifty, and hence I'm keeping it as 6 in terms of the price level monitors. All right. So this is the basic setting of footprint charts that I'm presently following. It is asking what changes would I make in bookmap setting if we were to scalp. Absorption is the indicator that you can use for immediate scalp. That means, let's say, but go by the framework. That is very important. Market entire trend is in the upward direction, so hence we are looking for long trades. Whenever there is an absorption at the lower side, okay, lower end, you can immediately get into the trade by targeting the high. This is more aggressive way of trading. I don't recommend this to any particular beginner. If you have a hand-on experience on a scalping, you can do this. All right. But try to align with the trend. Don't go against the framework. So try to identify the trend and trade according to the trend. It's as simple as that. For example, this is where we got an entry, and this is where we got an entry, and this is where we also got an entry. So immediate scalp also can be done by this, but it is a little aggressive way of doing it. I hope that is clear. Myths. All right. So I hope this is clear. Any particular questions? Okay. Additional information or indicators for options trading. See, options trading is basically the derivatives, right? So once you know in terms of the futures, or at the present moment we're analyzing the futures, and you know where to get in and get out when it comes to the part of futures, and simply you can mirror the same information, mirror the same trade in options. So if you are a scalper, immediate scalper, then option charts at the present moment is not available with Bookmap, so we're working on it. But for particularly if you want to trade, so then definitely you can utilize the futures data, so that we are presently utilizing, and you can mirror the same information to the options chart. But make sure that if you are in on buying side, always go with net the money or immediate in the money options. If you want to sell the market, so then go for an ATM or little extra out of the money to scalp out the market. All right. Context is important. Once you are clear with the context, you can play with the options. All right. I hope that is clear. Okay, someone is got into late. What is this indicator? This indicator is offered by Bookmap, so it's basically an order flow information. All right. Green and pink numbers are basically the absorption indicator offered by Bookmap. All right. So just a moment. If you have any particular questions, feel free to ask. Okay, there is a question from Sobish, who is asking 955 some limit order showing footprint chart. Kindly show the time Bookmap. 955. You want to see the footprint chart of 955, right? Okay. 955. Yeah. 955 limit order showing footprint chart. Okay. Kindly show the time Bookmap order book. Yeah, this is the order flow information of 955, and this is where the maximum number of transactions happened. This is the price level. All right. So, and in terms of this, around 955 means at this particular price level, around this particular range. I hope this is clear. All right. Well, so I hope today's session added value to you. You have learned something new today. Feel free to ask any particular questions in the Bookmap India channel also. In the Discord we have a separate channel. You can be active over there. Some active traders are actually posting the trades over there. And thank you so much for your wonderful time, and try to attend all the sessions or every week on a Monday 10 to 11 we will be having a live sessions, and we'll try to understand the market and the tools in an effective manner in the live market. All right, try to attend all the sessions to gain the most of the knowledge. So thank you so much for your wonderful time. See you next year, see you next week. Until then, take care. Bye bye. Jai Hind.